Did you know that the Cathedral of St. John the Divine in Manhattan is known by volume to be the fourth largest cathedral in the world? So what prompted such a massive project on a tiny island not exactly known for having lots of space? Well, the year was 1879 and St. Patrick's Cathedral in Midtown Manhattan had just been dedicated. And this cathedral was massive. It saw 2,400 people and it was Catholic. At the time, that was the religion primarily worshipped by the working class, the Irish, who, if they were lucky, could get a job as a scullery maid to Manhattan's elite, who were primarily Episcopalian. Now, Manhattan's elite, they thought, well, our cathedral should be at least as grand as the Catholic cathedral, and thus one could argue the origin story for St. John the Divine began. St. John the Divine was finished in the year, well, actually, it wasn't finished, but that's a story for another reel. Why was Manhattan's Cathedral of St. John the Divine never finished? In fact, only 2/3 of the original proposed building was finished. Well, this was a massive project to begin with, and it began running into problems right away, including finding an underground spring underneath one of the piers that was supposed to support the structure. So this actually delayed construction and also drove up costs. And then one of the architects died. And then World War I happened and construction had to halt. Designs, plans, and the architect for the cathedral changed. The new plans, they aimed to make the Cathedral of St. John the Divine the fourth largest cathedral in the world. Would they succeed? Click follow and find out in the next reel. Part 2 of why was the Cathedral of St. John the Divine in Manhattan never finished? Well, World War I ended. We have a new architect and a new design, and it's gonna cost a lot more money. $15 million in 1924 they had to raise. Now they actually got $2.5 million just in donations in the first 3 months. And then the governor, FDR, led a campaign to raise $6 million. And then John D. Rockefeller, yes, of Rockefeller Center, came along. He wanted to donate $500,000, but St. John the Divine said no because he was Baptist and St. John the Divine was Episcopalian. Turned out that they didn't actually need his money. Even through the Great Depression, they remained relatively unaffected. And on November 30th, 1941, they were able to dedicate St. John the Divine. And then, a week later, Pearl Harbor happened. What would that mean for St. John the Divine? Part 3 of why was the Cathedral of St. John the Divine never finished? Well, when we left off, the Japanese had just attacked Pearl Harbor, and construction on St. John the Divine didn't just stop for World War II, it halted for the next 3 decades. Now, in 1966, there were attempts to restart construction, but the bishops actually thought that the money should go to the poor and the cathedral's focus should be on the surrounding community. When the Vietnam War started, the cathedral actually turned its focus to important social issues and protesting the war. Now, construction did start up again in 1979, but it was very slow, and in 1997 they realized that the existing structure needed $20 million in repairs, so they decided to focus on that instead. Now, maybe one day we will get to see what the finished, fully realized version of St. John the Divine will look like, but for now, the cathedral, like society, remains to be ever evolving. For more NYC, follow me. Did you know that the very first services at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine were actually held underground in the crypt? That's right. Construction on the main building was actually delayed for a variety of reasons, so as a temporary measure, the Tiffany Chapel was purchased and placed underground. Now, the Tiffany Chapel, this was originally installed in 1893 in Chicago for the World's Columbian Exposition, and it won a bunch of awards. It was admired by over 1 million people before being purchased and brought here to the Cathedral of St. John the Divine. Now, eventually, the main aim was for the Tiffany Chapel to end up in the main building, but it never did. It made its way to Laurelton Hall, and the services of St. John the Divine made its way finally from the Tiffany Chapel in the crypt to the main building, where they are held to this day. For more NYC, follow me. Did you know that you can take a vertical tour of Manhattan's Cathedral of St. John the Divine? This is seriously one of the coolest experiences you can have in New York City. On this wonderful guided tour, you climb over 124 feet into the sky using spiral staircases that will make you feel like you're about to meet Quasimodo, though he of course lives in a different cathedral. You will come face to face with massive stained glass windows depicting themes of art, sciences, and religion while gazing down upon the nave and the cross, getting a vantage point that very few are ever lucky enough to see. We even went out onto the roof to gaze down upon the close. What a remarkable view! And the vertical tour even takes guests to La Forêt, the forest, the hidden space that was created to protect the Gothic ceiling visitors normally gaze up at. The vertical tour is offered every Monday, Friday, and Saturday and costs $20. This is a unique New York experience that needs to be a bucket list item. For more NYC, follow me.